What's up? What's up? My peoples, cosmic awareness is here. It is time. Talk about that in a minute. Got a lot of stuff to discuss. Got a few guests coming. Just waiting on them to come in. But now I have some fresh music again from the maestro myself. Let's get on in this podcast.
Is it fantasy or reality? Will you stand or flee, bounded down or free? Will you follow self or
what your eyes see?
Which will it be? Fantasy or reality? Dreaming, reality, in effect, meaning my knowledge graphic. Seeing, listen to my cassette, being tuned into my cosmic. Ship in lyrical form, I mix with folks to be born. Flips down the physical zone and rips an MC clone. Bound by my sentence, sounds lyrically intense. Found in hip-hop residence, down the free minds under offense of lies. Transmit through ears, eyes, see the degrees and fears. Side changes you hear, the rise of my vocal, it's clear. Why the truth they can't take, got a material to relate. Fly while others wait, I tie beats for minds escape to hip-hop. Words I create the tip-top of the field I rate and drop. MCs that fake and flip-flop on their whole tape. Tools, flesh rules the mind. Fools, batting weak rhymes. Jews, they're looking to find being cool. Gun talk's a sign. So follow on my trail. Hollow thoughts, I fail. Swallow truth to fail. Or sound lost in hell. Is it fantasy or reality? Will you stand or flee? Bounded down or free? Will you follow self or what y'all see? Is it fantasy or reality? Position your ears for the mystic vision and musical linguistic. The mission to bring you the lyric diction from my inner spirit. I project what I say, subjects hip hop today. Rejected sounds that can't stand, correct mutations of dismay. A new start to an old game, sacred art lifted to fame. It takes smart, seeks I explain the sparks from hip hop's domain. It's cold when riding free, two modes, fantasy reality. I unload positive on negativity, expose the real from imaginary. Cash won't be paid, won't last, your money slave. I'm past what you raise, it's trash, my stimuli a craze. The maestro least tingles, so you'll feel my signals. For a whole album, not a single, flowing beats. Me, about your metal atmosphere, no doubt constructing an engineer. Pulling our hip hop, get near, tight about rappers I tear. And growing like Apache Chief and throwing it soft and weak. Flowing in the masterpiece, and I know the styles I release. Is it fantasy or reality? Will you stand or flee, bounded down or free? Will you follow
self or what your eyes see?
Is it fantasy or reality? Will you stand or flee, bounded down or free? Will you follow self or what your eyes see? Is it fantasy or reality? Come traveling sight self, drum keeps the beats health. Some's past the book on the shelf, crumbs of wisdom, what else? So power won't wilt, control is needed to tilt. The whole from one spirit will built one mold, woven like silk. You're free if your mind's liberated. Can you see the truth I stated? Sublimity, third eye penetrated. MC confused, can't take it. Trying to figure it out the bite. Science metal has no mic. Shining lyrics give light. Dying in ears, eat all night. I tune my vocal cords up to boom fakes from getting the cut. Spoon for lyrics from the gut. Soon bubbling styles will erupt. Words hot, forming my mystical hip hop. Appears to the mental will rock the physical like cyclops, like beams in my vehicle. Less energy when I blast it. I press reality in its fabric. Stress on rappers I cast it, the best is weak like plastic. I puncture with liquid swords, they're under the rhymes I poured. No wonder they rhyme no more. My thunder got them Lord. Is it fantasy or reality? Will you stand or flee? Bounded down or free? Will you follow self or what your eyes see? Will you follow self or what your eyes see? Is it fantasy or reality? Is it stand or flee? Bounded down or free? Is it righteously or done wickedly? Will you stand or flee? Bounded down or free?
Will you follow self or what your eyes see? Will you follow self or what your eyes see? People, it's been a while. That's a great song to come in with, fantasy or reality. A lot of things are going on right now. As far as the conscious level that's shifting. Woo, so much is going on. So, before we get into that, grab the book, Cosmic Awareness. You know that dude. Same one as Overstanding Darkness. You can get it at Barnes and Nobles online. You can get it at Amazon Books. Must see, must book, must have. It's trying to help you break down every part of your system, every part of the universe, every part of your mind. You know what I'm saying? Uh, every part of time. Oh, all that in the book, breaking it down. Cosmic awareness. So, I really wanted to talk to everyone. I haven't been on in a while. One of these card talks, cosmic awareness, overstanding darkness. You can check me out, Overstanding Darkness on YouTube. Overstanding for, especially if you want to see some of my other podcasts when I talk about other things. You can check me out on Natural Living and Spirituality. That's on Facebook. I just got on, was it Twitter? No, TikTok. Same thing, Cosmic Awareness on TikTok. But so what I wanted to get into, it's crazy. Everyone is focusing on and actually moving to their own conscious time zone, meaning something could happen. We all see what happened, but everyone has a different take on what happened, even though we all see the same thing. So what's happening is now these consciousness, when it says that the revolution won't be televised, all right, because it's a conscious shift that's happening. All right. For us that are conscious, that can see it, you can see that some people are roped in to one type of conscious attitude. I'm this Christian, or I'm this Muslim. I'm this. I go to work. I do this. I'm this. I'm a father, or I'm this. I'm a doctor. Or, always locked into things in this world. And this is the key to what I learned. And it is so, and such a magnitude. Everything down here is an addiction. All of it is an addiction to try to get you to stay. Everything and anything you may like is part of the addiction of this world to try to keep you in this physical realm. Only when you can separate yourself from the flesh and concentrate on the physical, on the spiritual, I should say, and the soul, things that are not material. All right. You cannot go by what looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good. Oh, look who we got. Our beautiful sister, Miss Desi. How we doing, love?
I'm doing well. How are
You
you?
doing? Oh, I can't complain.
That's good.
I was just talking about the people, how I had this epiphany, how everyone's on their own little conscious level, how 10 people could see the same thing and everybody's seen it different. And we're talking about how the conscious shift is happening. And how now how the revolution will not be televised, because now people are caught in their, I'm a doctor, I'm a husband, I'm a wife, I'm an entertainer, I'm a rapper, I'm a basketball player, I'm this, caught in that, and they won't allow themselves to be more than what they are. Focused in on what looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good, smells good.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that, did you get a chance to get the book?
Yes.
Have you read the book?
I've started reading the book.
Okay.
And look at that.
You're like, and what happened? No, you good, girl. You good, because it's a thick one. It's thick. I tried to do it so it was easily readable, though. I was hoping it wasn't getting too deep. You know what I'm saying? So it's too difficult for you to read.
Oh, no.
No,
I think you make it pretty easy to follow along. You give like tons of references, different places to reference to. So just different. So I did see that. I've skipped to certain pieces in there. I've read certain pieces as well. So like it's a lot of things that I know. So like it's a lot of things that
You
is
you
you
good, you good. So what's going on with you, dear? Introduce yourself to the people. They probably haven't seen you in a while. On my podcast anyway. Uh Introduce yourself, tell them what you do, and how you do it.
what's up? I'm your girl Desi Lou, aka Desi Lou the Don. No,
I like that though. Don't be afraid of
um,
it.
but you can find me everywhere. I'm on TikTok, chocolate coating. I'm on Instagram, chocolate covered coating. So I'm just everywhere. And on Facebook, you could follow me just like my name is spelled right down there, Desilu. And I also have a podcast called The Immersive Experience. Check us out.
Yes. Very good. Oh, we have another. Jazzy Fizzle.
What's up?
What's good,
Hey, Miss
player?
Desi.
What's good?
I'm good. I'm good. Um, I'm just popping in. I'm sorry, I'm late.
Ah,
Yeah,
well, we
I
all
got
just popped in together. I was just talking about how it seems like, and we was talking about how the revolution ain't gonna be televised, how people are now stuck in a
mhm.
certain criteria of who they think they are. So if you think you're a doctor, what are you? You know, what do you do? Oh, I'm a doctor, right? You know, I save life. You're stuck in it. I'm a basketball player. I'm a rapper. I'm this. I'm that. Whatever. Besides being free, the reason was here we go, Desi. This is what I was getting to. Was my epiphany, and it makes so much sense. And you'll be on with it. Everything in the physical is an addiction.
Mhm.
Everything, because it makes you want to stay. Think about it. Everything. I don't care what it is you like. It's part of the addiction. And that's why before you can leave the physical realm, you're shown everything that you may want in the physical. And you got to be like, nope, I'm good. Nah, thank you. I'm going over here. I'm going this way. So, and that's why we keep reincarnating back into the physical again, because that light that they say shows us something that we want or that we didn't get while we were here in the physical. Now on our realm, it kind of seems kind of bad, but you got to remember on the spiritual realm, we're part of the infinite and eternal. It don't matter if this joint takes hundreds of thousands of years to complete. It really don't matter.
And you talk about all of this in your book.
Of course, and
I know.
more in
I
detail.
read that
Yeah,
part. I
yeah,
definitely read that part.
girl.
Absolutely.
Everything I've been talking about for the last few years is in the book. Everything and more is in the book. I'm talking about the cosmic time clocks, the conscious zones, how you can get stuck in the conscious zones because you won't raise your level of consciousness. How do you raise your level of consciousness? Turning away from what looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good, smells good. Going on the inside. But what do you think about that, Miss Desi? You did say something, but what else do you think about that?
About what?
The whole getting stuck in
Addiction.
that conscious time zone. And now everything that we have out here is part of that temptation to keep us stuck. It's all a temptation.
I could tell you that for myself, you know. But go ahead, Miss Desi. I don't want to cut you.
Oh, I agree. I definitely agree with that. I think that I say it often that we often don't know what it is that we're bowing to because we ain't searched ourselves enough or we ain't checked ourselves enough. So I definitely agree
Facts.
with that. So it is certain things, certain key factors. What you think so everybody's so afraid to die for? Because we attach to something here in the physical.
Right.
You thinking that, oh, before I leave I gotta accumulate a certain amount of money, or before I leave I need to make sure that my legacy is good, so
I gotta take care of Poo Poo and Kiki. Make sure they
mhm.
good before I
So
go.
I
The
think that
thing
help
is,
us
you'll never.
understand the things that we chase outside of ourselves that essentially we can't take with us. We can understand all of the things that we can't take with us, but we do so much to make sure that the people who are staying here are going to do the best, and we prepare ourselves none. So I could
The
follow that.
best work you can do is work on yourself, because if you're a better person, everyone around you becomes better. But go
Mm.
ahead, Jazzy.
I was gonna say that I could say that true for myself because being stretched sometimes it's just put in another terms where it just seems like everything grabs your attention, and it's not like where it's an enjoyment thing. It could be something where you're just stretched and you feel like you're doing catch up for some of the things that you have. I'm not saying everybody, but I can say for myself, because everybody goes through a different experience of it.
Mhm.
So what may be for me may not be, mental yours, and then, Mrs. Desi could be yours. However, for me, it just feels like a lot of things sometimes, um, just trying to stay focused because the whole thing is if you take one thing and then if you just get off focus for one thing, then there's many things. You know what I'm saying? So when you do that one, it's going to open up the door to everything. And then, the things you'll see the things that's most important, but you feel like you have to do because it's a necessity. But then while you're looking at those things, everything else opens too. The things that don't, that's just dangling. And
I
those are
think
the things like if you just don't do the one thing and then you get distracted by something else. It's almost like Google and the internet and like Facebook and whatever you watch, even
it's
YouTube. You
this is
tap
what I'm
into
trying to
one.
tell you. It's all a distraction. All of
Mhm.
it.
No, 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 that's what I'm saying.
All
I'm
of
breaking
it is
it.
a distraction.
That's that's why I said I agree with that. Everything
Yeah.
on this premise. But I'm just saying how it is from my experience.
Mm.
Knowing that. That's why I said when you said that, I said yes, I agree, and I'm explaining like how
Oh, from
it
how
looks
it push takes you away from yourself.
from my perspective. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? If you just say, "Hey, I want to listen at YouTube," before you get to YouTube on something that you had in mind, they got the 4 or 5 squares up there that'll go ahead and say, "You know what?" And then it's distracting you, and then before you don't push there, you don't push there, you don't put, you're just going down the rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? And that can be with a lot of things. Even like if you trying to search something on any type of social media, if you do there, it has a way of just going ahead and just putting other things there. So you're always trying to run to get the one thing, but you got all of these things doing like this right in your way. So I see that. I see like as far as like you think of yourself and then sometimes you put yourself last because you think of your family and your friends. So you think like you're doing some
Hmm.
kind of catch up where it's like, hey, there you go again. You know what? I need to go see uh, this, or I need to go ahead and stop by here because this nephew or this niece. So you know what I'm saying. So you got these things going in your mind. So you're thinking, okay, outside yourself, you put your family first, and then the next thing, some people have it where it's like money. You know what I'm saying? I got to work this job. I got to do this many hours, and then I got to do this many hours, and then you just all in a wheel. You know what I'm saying? And then not only after that, it could be health. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes down the line where any one person can have a totally different view or aspect. What like you said, that everything is addicted here, and it is. And but I'm just saying, all it takes is for one thing, and I just showed you how many other things branch off from that. Then
Connect over it.
the next thing you don't forget about yourself.
Everything you're supposed to be doing.
Whatever it is, anything about yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's the big distraction, is to go ahead and take you away from yourself. And I'm realizing that now. That's why I
And
said like when
how
I
do
say
we
like
combat that?
that when I was talking about before, when I was saying how like social media could be mine, because you'll have like a minute and do something, then you just say, hey, something came across your mind, you want to post. Before you even go ahead and do that, there's 1,000 other things that go ahead and just do like this and just take you all in. You going through, and then by the time you do, and then you're like, man, time's up. I got to go ahead and finish doing this. So it could be that. So that's why I said before that social media is a big can be like a weakness for me. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's at times like I'm gonna do next week, starting all over again, is just take those days off where I don't go ahead and have nothing to do with it, just be to myself. So that's one way that you can do it. I mean, then there, whatever else your things that you feel is taking if it's going out every night to have a drink, you know what I'm saying? Even though, some, smoking, he's like, but it could be that. It could be anything that goes ahead and draw you away from yourself in a way. That's
right.
what
Anything. It could
it
be
don't
kids,
matter.
everything. Wife, husband, anything.
That's what I said. It could be everything that you
I'm
do
gonna be
for
real.
putting yourself.
And I'm gonna accelerate the game for some people. All you really got to do is focus on that inner voice. If you focus on that inner voice in you, it'll almost put you in one of those states of trances where you're seeing stuff and experiencing, but you almost walking with the spirit because the spirit is constantly in your ear talking to you. You don't worry about it. Everything it's different. It's like you only have 24 hours to live or something, 48 hours to live. All the stuff that you thought you cared about don't mean nothing right now. Absolutely nothing. Because let's be real, none of us are promised tomorrow. None of us. But we all act like we're going to live for years. Which I can't blame you. I mean, it is what it is.
It's a time for everybody. You know what I mean? So that's just the way it is. It's man to go ahead, how they say, once he's born, man is born to die.
So I'm telling you, my time's gonna be a little too long. Whenever it comes, I need it. I need that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. This world is crazy. Now, don't get it twisted, people. You get what you get out of it. I can see the love, but I can see the pain. The problem with this spirits thing is the much love that you can see and experience, you're also going to be able to experience just as much pain.
On the other side.
That's that double-edged sword. When I talk about the truth, that's in my book too. That double-edged sword. Whenever you're giving something in the spirit, there's something in the physical you're going to have to deal with to make sure it doesn't rump up and destroy your new gift. Everything is a balance, like Jazzy used to say. Everything. Oh, you ain't alone. Where yours at, Jazzy? Look at
it's
you.
In there. Reading it.
The people don't know it's in there. You hear me?
No.
You hear me, Jazzy? The people don't know it's in there.
She reading it right now.
But yeah, so that double-edged sword, and that's why I love the truth, the double-edged sword, and that's a great example. Yes, you're getting something, but now you got to deal with some stuff. Peter Parker said, with great strength comes great responsibility. And the responsibility is for you not to kill yourself with it. It ain't even about others. It's about you making sure you can do what you need to do.
Dude, I had to, it's gotten to the point, like, I don't know how for some other people, like, some days, like, you just have to go ahead and just sometimes take a day off. You know what I mean? Just from your job, just from, you know what I'm saying? Everything. Because if not, and that's why things become where it seems like things are sped up and it seems like pressure rises. And it's because the whole thing is you didn't take the moments. And then what happens is that it builds, man. And then by the time you realize, you're like, man, I just got to take a break because I need to focus on, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are, especially people that are goal oriented, you know what I'm saying? Like if they're trying for a project or if somebody at their job, you know what I'm saying? Or even for a belief system, you know what I'm saying? Where somebody even consumes too much of that, where you still, you know what I'm saying? You listen to this, you run into that, you know what I'm trying to say, and then you just still didn't take the same simple amount of time for yourself. That can be very detrimental.
Well, think of how many times people actually count how much time they do for themselves. And I'm not talking about normal stuff. Brush your teeth, wash your face. When do you actually stop and be like, hold on, everybody else back up. Let me be with myself. Am I good?
That's what I told you when you was up here this week. I told you, I said the one thing is that you feel like Okay, like it can be your family, your children, it could be, you know what I'm saying, your job, and then like it's just like, and then you have personal things that if you don't take care of, like whether it's your garden, your lawn, whatever else, something is going to suffer. And that's the lesson that I am, what I'm saying
Now, is
myself
it
is
really
that,
suffering? Is the lawn really suffering because I haven't cut it, or is the suffering in my mind?
yeah, it's in a carnal mind. Everything here, like you said, it has to be. There's no, it's carnal. It's fleshly. It's
Yeah,
desire. So I mean, no matter which way you put it, I mean that is like law. Soon
well,
in
but
this realm right
that's
here,
why
everything is an addiction. I mean,
and that's
rather it's
why the
just like feel
key.
like you ain't got enough money to go ahead. You got to work all these hours. No,
Yeah,
it don't
yeah,
matter what it
there it
is.
is. I gotta work. Can't see my kids, my babies, because I gotta work all the time because I feel like they need these things. No, and I'm gonna tell all y'all out. No, they need you at home. Okay,
Mhm,
they go without a lot if they just had mom and dad at home. Believe it
mhm.
or not, because you're priceless. Everything else can be bought. Miss
And you
Desi,
know
you
what?
had something? Oh, hold on, I ain't wanna because I know she was about to
Go
say
ahead, Miss
something.
Desi.
No, before
I'm
you were saying, oh,
I'm just agreeing with y'all. I'm listening. All sound
oh,
good to me. I
I,
agree.
I'm just, I'm speaking from my own. Like I said, this is me. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for or say for everybody else. But what happens is, and then another thing that goes on in my mind after you even do all of that, and then it's just like, okay, why aren't you doing self?
why ain't you
Why are you
doing
doing
what?
that? Why aren't you doing self first? Why? I mean, what is it?
Right.
Why
What's
do
the
you keep
excuse?
doing? Yeah. Why do you put this and say like, okay, you have to? Why do you have to say that? Why not look at yourself and just say, you know what? Okay, first things first, me. You know what I'm saying? And that has been a very difficult thing for me. A long time in my life.
You know why? Because you was programmed.
Uh oh.
And it's essentially that's what happens to us. We are programmed from birth. And we
Yep.
don't
Right.
know the systems that we put on, and we spend a lifetime trying to undo something that we do not understand. So for you to what you're giving us is an embodied knowledge. That's what you're giving
Mhm,
us. I
mhm,
reached these heights by going through such and such. It is the nuance of your story.
mhm,
So I definitely understand what you're saying because that's for you. This is a step by step process of how I reached it. It's not a thing of where you have to like spiritually bypass or to just say, oh no, this how I got here because God saves, no.
mhm,
But this is the work that I did. These are the steps that I took to get here. And you understand that it took just as much of you giving up everything. And I even think this goes like mental references the King James Bible in here a lot. And I
Yep.
also think that this goes into the knowing of even how the Bible works and for us, not that it is something that we're just supposed to look at and be enamored with, but if we think of all of the things that we have to embody to spiritually ascend, to become something different, to transcend all of these things, and you look at the things that why Christians are considered so hypocritical is because they do not embody the knowledge that they preach.
mhm.
Ah,
And that
And
is
that's
what
the
the
ah,
part
Bible.
right there. Right.
ah.
Right.
So,
Nah,
Right.
and I won't even blame just Christians, Jews,
No, that could be anybody though. That could even
all
no,
of
be
them,
I'm
people.
just saying from
Yeah.
Muslims,
our
all
It
of
could
them.
standpoint,
it
they're
could be in
very
spirituality. It
targeted.
could be
They're the
everything too.
most targeted, like literally most targeted. And there's a lot of different factors that play into them being so targeted. Even it stems from racial issues.
Yeah.
If it stems from people who were just church hurt and so we got beef with these people because they don't understand their trauma just yet, or maybe they do, and they still want to bring people over from the other side. Whatever the nuance is, cool, that's fine. But the
Well, if
idea
you
is
think,
what
my
you're
bad,
saying.
go ahead,
Mhm.
dear.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you think about it, the two major religions, Islam and Christianity, how did they come
Catholic.
about? They were both brought on through the sword. I will kill you and your family if you don't become a Christian. I mean, what are we talking about? I will smoke you and your people if you don't become a Muslim. Come on. I mean, let's be real.
Hey, but you know what? That goes back to what you were saying earlier about, balance when we were saying, and then the other way with the sword, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can go ahead and that's what everything in life. It's just like, there's only, you can either do this or you can either do that. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So that it's gonna
Absolute
always be,
power corrupts.
that sword.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
There's no way around it. You got to have a balance. Jazzy was key on the balance thing. You were always key talking about got to have balance. You got to have balance. I got to seek balance. Especially when you get into this spiritual thing, you got to have that balance because most people are trying to just get spiritual power, but they don't realize the spiritual power is within them. All they got to do is activate it, but you can't activate it to make Jazzy a zombie.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
So,
saying? It's not,
so
it doesn't work like that. It can, but it doesn't. But go ahead.
So check this out. So another thing that I observed about self, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, like we were saying, as far as like when you go ahead and you're trying to have more time, for spirit or yourself instead of, going inward. So the one thing I can say that has been helping me during these times has been that the whole thing is that, you know what, I go inside and I talk to myself about things. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. No matter what's going on around me, I still have to confide with the spirit inside of me to go ahead and make sure that, I am on track that way. Because you can't just lose everything. Your own personal rituals that you do
Right.
for yourself. That's when you become, that's how they say when it becomes a sin, because what it is that you're taking away from going ahead and going inside yourself to connect with spirit. So that's been heavy on my heart about that. That's why I was saying as far as
Mm.
detachment, more detachment,
Right.
because
Detach from
because
the
be-
clutches of flesh. That's in my
because
book. Detachment from the clutches of flesh.
so that's the thing. It's just that when you go ahead and because that's when you start to sin, against your own self. So that's when it's detrimental. So ain't nobody gonna be able to, like, people say, oh, that was a lie, that was this, or somebody stole. All of them are the same. There's no bigger one or small one. But the one that's biggest to you is if you're going against your own will.
Right. That's horrible. Look, I just thought of something. The planet is you. Those things leaving are things that no longer serve your planet anymore. Get the hell up out of here. It's the same things with our emotions, the same things with our past, with our trauma. We got to learn to deal with it so we can take it to the next level. I tell people all the time, when you deal with your trauma, there's power at the end. But you got to deal with the trauma first. And that's not easy.
Mhm.
In fact, it's very difficult.
Hey, but the only person that's gonna help you with your trauma is going
It,
inside yourself.
it's you,
So
right?
you know what I'm saying? Because no matter what you're going through, you can go ahead and talk to 1,000 people, but you still gonna go ahead and say, "Man, does this really make sense? Should I listen to this person? Should I listen to that person? Or should I take this advice? Or is this the right thing?" You still gonna go ahead and hear you talking to yourself. There's no escape.
Well, see,
You know what
this
I'm
is the
saying?
good thing about cosmic awareness. All I'm doing is turning up the voice inside of you. That's all I'm doing. I'm turning it up so you can hear yourself. Because when you're reading it, one or two things are gonna either your spirit of truth is gonna come down and be like, all right, let's get into this thing here.
Mhm.
All right, this is what he's talking about. Boom, boom, boom. Because the spirit of truth is made to bridge the gaps of what we don't know.
No,
That's
but
what that inner spirit is supposed to be. So
you
when
know what,
we're reading
mental?
something or we're adapting to something new, it's helping us get the stuff that may not be in the book, but makes sense to us because we've already experienced it. Go ahead.
No, because the whole thing is what's true is true. So it's gonna affect no matter what.
Yeah, but truth can be on different levels depending on the consciousness.
But the whole thing is truth is truth, all the way
Yes,
down,
I agree.
down that sharp part in that blade. That's, you know what I'm saying. So the one side of this where you know what I'm saying, and
That
then
the
this
side that
side is
slices is
still
truth.
it's
That's truth right there.
so that's what I'm talking about. So I don't care how we receive it.
Interpret it. I got you.
You know what I'm
Truth
saying?
is
So
truth.
it and then you know what? So what's there, no matter who hears it, you know, truth will go ahead and do his own work. After the process is done, your part is done now. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is like it's going to start to slice, and that's the whole thing.
But
You
it's gonna
so
slice regardless.
that's why I said because truth is truth. That's that's the blade.
Get in the way of that blade if you want to. That's all I can tell you. It ain't gonna look good for you.
Hey, the one thing is truth will what?
Set you free. It'll break the bonds, them
Yeah, that's
chains
what it
that been
says. Make
holding
you
you,
free.
those emotions that been holding you back, the trauma. Truth to set it free. But guess what? You got to accept it. You got to bring it in. It's got to come in,
Can I
and you
just
got to
say,
accept it for what it is. Yes,
can I
ma'am.
can I just
Oh
say,
man, I didn't even know you were
Jazz,
still there. Yes.
why would I leave?
Oh no, because it was no. It had the bat. It had the he had pictures going across you,
Yeah. Oh,
and
you
I didn't
couldn't
see.
tell me because I'm not on camera right
Because she
now. You
wasn't on
couldn't
camera.
tell.
Right.
That's
So
all.
no,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, he had something going in your place. So I thought that you had left because that's what he do sometimes. He put like
Oh,
a floating words and little that like that. So I thought you might
no.
have been gone. Okay,
But
go ahead, Miss Desi.
I want to say that I enjoy your teach learn cycle because how I feel these days is that everybody want to be the teacher, but nobody want to be the student.
Mm,
And I like how you are um like you're able to understand how you learn so you can also teach yourself, and I think that that is important. And so I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate that. I was listening to you talk and I listened to how you articulating your story and how you like elevated yourself and all of those things. Like for me, I like details. I'm a writer, so details always help me
mm,
Mm,
understand like tons of things. So you give me something to ponder through your story, something to live in, to walk through. You've hollowed out your corridors, you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Right now I'm writing a book called The Excavation of Giants,
ooh,
and
Okay.
it is that it is those types of moments where you understand like, oh shit, this the mask I actually gotta pull off my fucking face. And
mm.
you understand that it's done wrapped itself around your heart, it's done coiled
Them
itself around your
breakthroughs.
veins. You understand what I'm saying? Because
Mm,
for
Mm,
so
mm,
long
mm,
you sat there and you kept saying, oh yeah, I'm a partake in what look good, I'm a partake in what feel good, I'm a partake. And in order to do it, you had to shrink yourself so much
mm, mm,
to fit in, to make yourself part of something that you was never even supposed to. What that saying is, observe, don't absorb.
mm,
So it is a thing of course, being here in this earthly realm. Of course, we still gonna partake. We still gonna do these things, but
mhm,
for us to understand the cycles that we take, the choices that we make, to
mhm,
perpetuate our addiction to the material world. You understand what I'm saying? So I
mhm.
do think it is beautiful how you articulate your story, and that's a long-winded way of saying that. Sorry.
Oh, thank
oh,
you,
thank
thank
you,
you,
love.
thank you. I received that. You know, I my thing is I look to just have conversations. You know what I'm saying, and that's my biggest thing. That's how me and Mental started. So it's not really like
Yeah.
it's never. I always want, no matter who's listening, that I'm saying, hey, I'm trying to be this person, that person. I'm just having conversation with like minds that goes ahead, and then when I hear their things, and then I express mine because it gives me a time to say, okay, this is what happened to me, and this is the choices, that I choose. Maybe somebody's. I'm just trying to throw little pebbles out there. Somebody's going the same route, trying to be the best accountable person and responsible. How they say, what's your truest self? I'm just sharing. You know what I'm saying? So when I listen to you, and then when I listen to Mental, I mean, it's just like explaining your process and how you doing, getting ready to do your book, and that, how you pay attention and you give your opinion and how you feel. That's how we build. And then you have mental over here. He's saying, well, look, I put it out there. This is that or whatever. And then it's just the two and three when they come together. And then, I am there also. So, and then that's what I love about our podcast is that, it shows love. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel. No, so my thing is no matter who I'm talking to or who I'm listening to, my thing is to have no judgment. You know what I'm saying? Or don't
Mhm.
condemn anybody because you know what? Everybody has a path. And then, like, the thing is, we have different experiences, but we don't have nowhere to go ahead and say, you're doing this right or you're doing that wrong. We're just people all under, with different frames, different walks of life where we all trying to go ahead and capture the truest self of who we truly are.
Mhm.
And then I think I feel that, you can know who you are, but still each day that we build, you get to know yourself a little more.
You don't
So
know.
I don't think you'll ever on this plane right here know the true essence of everything who you are. But the thing is, that's why we build every day to become a better and better so we can get that knowledge. And that's what I try to do. You know what
I
I'm saying?
think that's. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's no, go ahead, you fine.
I was gonna say that that's also like the beauty of mental for me as well. Pieces for me and not all at once. So there was a beauty in watching his story unfold. So I appreciate the both of you. Even just getting your book. So like I know that I'm gonna be in for a treat because I know that you have walked with awareness for a very long time. Like, I don't
Hmm.
even like, you know how they say they never see old pictures of Morgan Freeman? I feel
Right.
like that's how you will never see a picture of mental without
Mental.
awareness.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's what his book is for me, especially just sitting down looking at the pieces that I've read, like a man that walks with ancient knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? And to for you to pour it out into the world the way that you did, and to use the Bible essentially. And I know that you say like you are
That's what I'm hearing from she's telling
omni
me like the way you
something. It has
referenced.
to do with like sacred texts and different things like that. You use all of and you reference all of them in your book as well. You understand? So I was appreciative of that. And to be able to follow it because a lot of the books he's like, yeah, I recommend you read this. Or I recommend you read that. And then also just following along with the podcast as well. So to even understand the book of knowledge, the 64 keys, because you even gave us that. So I definitely understand that this book being a culmination of years for you,
Yes.
of you stepping
Yeah.
through your experience, of you living through these things, of the knowledge that you acquired, that the things that you ran across, and for you to put it into such a way so it is easily accessible. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's even more so the beauty of your books because this is not your first book. So I think that is even more so to say that this is the beauty of your books, the ideal that you accumulate all of this knowledge and then you put it in an easy accessible place for people to read, to digest, to understand. So I thank both of you for sharing your vulnerabilities. It is
Well,
appreciated.
You,
I'm just
I
happy
just
that
say,
you
just
that
allow me to catch up. Okay. I just didn't want y'all to play me. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm
but
just saying
what you were
I
saying,
gotta catch
Desi.
up.
Oh, but hold on, Jazz. But what you were saying is true. So I put the scriptures of the King James Bible in there. Because why? Everyone reads the King James Bibles. But the scriptures I chose were scriptures that no one wants to talk about. Because to know these scriptures mean you had to read other books. And you're right, it was an accumulation or almost an overfilling. The knowledge just kept pouring over. I had to put it in a book. I ain't had no choice. That's how I felt. And
You
and
know,
I think
go ahead, go
Cosmic
ahead.
Awareness is just one of, if not the most different book any person is ever going to read because it has mostly to do with them and their thought process and how they're thinking. because the first thing what I'm trying to do is open up their mind. We both know how important that is, because according to the book of Enoch, to be open-minded. Why? Because the universe is open-minded, and the galaxy is open-ended, and the solar system is open. Everything is open. There's nothing up above you that you know where you can't achieve and can't go. But go ahead, Jazzy. My bad.
Okay, so I want to say two things. One, don't let me forget about see, I just forgot it that quick. I want y'all to but the first thing I want to say that I like when you say people that read the Bible and understand it, and there's one verse that makes it like, even if they just said this one verse every single day, and if they never went back to the place of where they said, well, I read this amount, this, that, or whatever, or if they go to services, this amount, that amount, it's one thing. I don't care what level they go in Christianity. That one thing that is very hard to say. Oh, I know. Remind me about I am. Okay, but the thing is, okay, so the thing is, the very hardest prayer for anybody to pray on this realm, it's not my will, but let thy will be done.
Thy will. That's letting the spirit lead you. But guess what?
Nobody likes to. Nobody. I don't care what religion you go to. They don't like to say that
because they don't want that. They want to do what they want to do. Letting the spirit. This is the issue with letting the spirit lead. For you to let the spirit lead you and guide you first,
you have to deny yourself.
You gotta know the spirit. You gotta know the spirit. You gotta know the spirit. Then you got to accept the truth that the spirit is bringing you. If you're arguing with what the spirit is bringing you, that's not going to work. Okay. Yeah, everything has to be that acceptance. Okay. If you can't accept it, then that's a problem. That's an issue. In fact, that's when you say people fight against themselves, because we all have the truth within us.
Say
it again.
Go ahead, Miss Daisy.
That's my favorite thing to say. My dad just had a heart attack, and he had to have a triple bypass. And the first thing everybody kept saying, oh, I'm praying. I said, not my will, but thy will be done.
Like, thy will be done.
I meant that. So,
but
every time I call up there, he doing amazing. And they didn't think it. This man got stage 4 kidney failure, diabetes. And so for him to be doing as good as he doing right now, I'm sure they medically shocked just as much as everybody else is.
You know, even like when people praying, Ms. Desi, like they say, you know what? Like you said, how you explained it to them and broke it down, that can go so many other variable ways, because even like people like, you know, I'm believing for my husband, you know, I'm gonna pray on this and everything, but they never say, not my will, but let thy will be done. They always go ahead and it's like, I'm praying for this. Right. You know, I want that car or I want this house. They never go ahead and say, if it's not my will, but let your will be done, I'll have it. You know what I'm saying? So that a lot. I mean,
and look how powerful that is, because it takes it out of your hand. If it's meant for me to have a house, spirit will bring it to me. If not, then I ain't gonna have no house. Whatever the spirit gonna give me, I'm gonna take.
People say they'll be saying, "Oh, I prayed so hard for this," and you know, but they still didn't say, "Not my will." You know what I'm saying? Allow your
to the unknown.
Yeah, that's the part. That's what I was saying as far as like with time, even like time management. It's okay to do certain things. That's what I'm realizing. It's okay when you have time to do things for others. But the whole thing about it, that's the whole thing is that you're taking away that part from yourself. You know what I'm saying? You end up to that place is just like, okay, you know, so all of those situations, no matter what I have going on, that's the first thing that I should be saying. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying, you know, trying to say this is what you should be saying. I'm saying me first. If you choose to do it, that's on you. But I'm saying that's the first thing is surrendering self, you know, and then that way you allow spirit to just go ahead and flow and do whatever it needs to do. And then you're not doing, because what happens is that you try to do things without the spirit, then what happens? You just
messes up. It's like that's what happens when you hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
That's when the spirit be like, "You done? You gonna try something else?" And
Mm-hmm.
then you look back, I ain't got nothing else. Can I
Mm-hmm.
work? Can I do me?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to rise. You have nowhere else to go but up. But now on your rise up, now it's just you and yourself. Because if you see, when most people hit rock bottom, who did they lose? Everyone around them.
Right.
Everyone that thought they was friends, thought they were there when they had stuff, had money, had stuff. They was there. Now when they hit rock bottom, they done lost all them gimme gups, all them people that thought they was your friends.
And then you
Fake.
know what happens, and then them are the main ones like, what happened to him? Oh man, he fell off, or he
Right.
crashed out,
Yep.
or he does that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you gotta, like you said, it's just like you if you got a bulldozer and you pushing sand, at some point it's gonna stop and you build a big wall. You know what
So
I'm saying? And you build that in between yourself. Go ahead, Miss Desi.
this helped me really put this homeless analogy that we used so long ago into perspective. So like, some people they go homeless behind drugs. You understand what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So the ideal is that they wouldn't know the spirituality essentially that we talking about embodying because they lost it chasing something so materialistic. I think even the greatest thing about the book and the references that you give while you're explaining things is that it allows people to weigh it against what they have followed as their religion. You understand?
Yes.
And that's the convicting part of it. This is how you meet transcendence. This is how you transcend, because now you must confront everything that you thought you knew. And I think that really is the truth, that we be afraid to ask the real questions, so we never get the truth, so we can never transcend. And homeless people, they still addicted to materialistic things. I only lost all of this because I'm currently addicted to something that is keeping me from having all of these materialistic things. I
Right.
trade everything for one thing. You understand what I'm saying? So, but the
That's
same thing
remember we
that we
talked about
give.
that. Remember we talked about this on your podcast. Me, you, and Mental, when we was talking about like it's always that homeless man that sees all the things. Like when they get ready, something bad happens. It's always a homeless person, or that
That
we think
sees
that,
everything.
and that we think, and then most of the people that are homeless, we think that in this realm, people are like, oh man, they crazy, they crashed out, this, that, or whatever. However, some of those people are like, you know what? I'm the most connected piece here because I don't give a damn about nothing. Remember, we were saying that they homeless, they don't give a damn about nothing. They don't care about how they sleep. They
They're
don't
freer
care
than most people.
that, yeah, they are, yeah, right. They've cut those things off as far as having tangible, like say, hey, a nice car, a nice suit. They just like, you know what? I got clothes on my back. I know I'm gonna eat every day. You know what I'm saying? And then if they really want to, they can just jaywalk or something and get thrown in jail. They got a cot, a meal, and a bathroom. You know what I'm saying? So those people, they feel like, look, this nut wasn't. What if they're actually saying that none of that other stuff was never my purpose anyway? It was for me. My goal was to go ahead and show people that you don't have to have anything, and you can still go ahead and get consciously into another level where you don't have to go ahead and come back here.
But I think that's not realistic for most homeless people.
No, no,
Like,
I'm just saying that I'm not saying it's everybody. However, but because there are some people that crash because of drugs. You know what I'm saying, and then I'm just saying. But however, there are some. I know there has to be some that's just sitting out there just saying, "Look, I don't have millions. It doesn't even matter." You know what I'm saying,
there
and that's
is
what it took, and
there
that's what
is
it
some
took for me
people.
to go ahead and what I'm saying, for my eyes to come open that there's more to life than this. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree
I
with
think it's
that. I
both.
just
I
think
think
that
it's
it's the
both.
same thing. But I do think it's the same thing as what you're saying, essentially. And I think it's what we all talk about, learning how to truly surrender. Because if
Mhm.
you a
Yeah.
crackhead, you know how to surrender to your crack addiction. And I'm just saying, you understand the
Facts.
idea of serving one
Right.
God. You understand what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
crack is your one God. And you
Mhm.
know how to serve that God. I need to go to work. I need to make this money. There was a man, and they say that um he was like the most aware crackhead ever. And they interviewed him, and his interview was so it was so riveting. And the reason it was so riveting was because when he was talking, he would tell them, like, I have a good job. He worked at NASA. He was a black man, and he worked at NASA, and he stated that when I got my checks, I would pay my rent up for a year. I would do all of these things, and then the rest of my money went on my crack addiction. I needed some place to stay. I needed my lights to be on. He was basically saying, like,
Mm.
I wasn't just some elucid man addicted
That
to
I could
crack.
get, I know how to go ahead and make it happen.
He knew how to
Mhm.
make everything happen because he understood that I wanted to serve my God in peace in my own area. So let me take care of all of these things. The ideal, even when we think of the Muslim religion, and one thing that we do understand is that what it instills in most people who practice the religion is discipline. Think of a Jehovah Witness. They would say that they
Facts.
were cultists to a certain extent. And so if the God that you say that you serve is not able to instill discipline into you, is not able to challenge you, is that really the God that you serve?
Uh-oh.
No, but do you know the one thing though, too, is that like how people say, like you said, that was his God, that was this, but the one true, the one thing is that you can go ahead and be, like you said, that person that was on crack, or that person, it can be something if this meant, because one thing about you, once you called and once you chosen, you're gonna have to go. No matter, it may not be to those extent of what how we picture visualize, but there's spiritually things that you will do the same way. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's not saying that, just because he smoked crack, but denying self or doing some of the other things, that goes ahead and compress your spirituality that way. So you be doing the exact same thing. And then the only thing that happened at that point, that means that you were so hard headed that, whatever way it was, you know what I'm saying? Then the spirit just has to go ahead and allow,
He was
and then it
supposed to come
chastises you.
down.
It
He was supposed to
chastises
come
you.
down, my bad, in a deal with his addiction. It didn't matter
Mhm,
what the addiction was. This lifetime, it happened to be crack. He's a
mhm,
NASA making much money, but he
mhm,
can't deal with his addiction.
mhm.
That's the lesson. The
Hmm.
whole
That is the
lesson is,
lesson.
and guess what? He's gonna come down again and have to deal with another addiction until he
Not
gets it right.
always, though, but not
And
always, because you know what?
yeah,
Sometimes
you
it
only we
it
only
takes
get
that
better.
one
We don't get
thing,
worse.
I
huh?
think
No,
it's
I'm
you
We
saying
only
said
it
get
this
takes,
better. We don't
earlier,
get worse.
Jazzy. What you said
huh?
earlier was if it is truth, it is always truth.
Right.
What persists in one dimension of you persists in all dimensions of
Y'all
you.
dement.
It
Right.
does
Thank
not
This is
you.
matter
true.
how small the catalyst may be, it
Hmm.
is there. It is somewhere lying underneath, and you have to find it. So it does. So
You
the Bible
and I
talks about
go
how
ahead.
we learn. The Bible is precept upon precept, line upon
Hmm.
line. You understand? So is life. So the same thing that you learned on level one, that you are infinite, is the same thing that you must remember on level 300. It is all the same thing. So if you allow
Facts.
yourself to forget this time, you sitting back down to earth. Yes, it may not be crack. You may be addicted to making money and chasing yourself till you
Yep.
die. So you make so much money because you want to live this elaborate life. It might not
Hmm.
be chasing money. You could fall in love and get beat upside your
Hmm.
head a million and one
Hmm.
times. The ideal
Hmm.
is that we all learn the same lesson on different
Right.
levels.
On different
And that is
levels.
what
I
that
agree.
means.
Hmm.
So what I was saying though was that sometimes I know from previously, like if the spirit is trying to get your attention, it's gonna beat you, no matter which way you put it. So that's
Not
so
necessarily.
yes, it will. If you're
Not
going to
Sometimes,
get yourself,
necessarily.
yes, let me tell you
especially if we
something. Hold on, let me
disobedient.
finish.
Hold on, hold
Disobedient.
That's
on,
a,
hold on. Before you say
let
that,
me
the
finish.
problem is, why does the spirit need to get your attention? That's my issue with what you said. Because I'm already talk. I talk with the spirit. Ain't no attention. We're in one.
No, no,
I'm
you,
done downloading anything. I'm downloaded. If
but
that
you're not
makes sense.
completed. Yeah, but you're not finished.
I'm never finished.
So that's what I'm saying. So my
But it,
thing is,
go ahead.
this is my thing is, okay. So the spirit has a way of get this what my dad always said. My dad always said, he said, you know what? God has a way of getting your attention. Okay. You can go ahead and do whatever you want to do or whatever. He'll lift those hands enough to go ahead so you can get your attention, just like whatever it was when you was driving that car. Whatever y'all was planning to do or whatever or something that y'all all did, you know what I'm saying? Say if y'all was just going, but he, you know what I'm saying? He was trying to tell y'all, no, don't go, this, that, or whatever. But y'all joyriding, this, that, or whatever. And then, you know what? Something happens and then the car starts to go off the side of the road. But then you see that hand that brings you back on the road. You see what I'm saying? That was God giving you, trying to get your attention. He was like, you know what I'm saying? That's what my dad would say. The spirit is trying to, so he will
Okay.
chastise you. The spirit will chastise you to go ahead and snap you to a point. Because if you're a chosen one and you have more that you have to give, that's what when it happened to you.
I totally agree. But I'm saying when you become one with the spirit, at some point there is no more chastisement. I'm not hurting anyone. I have good vibes for all who meet me. I want everyone to love and live. So there's nothing.
But-
it's like I don't sin because I
No,
don't even
but-
think sin. So
See-
no, I'm just trying to tell you
Okay.
what I'm saying. When you get to a certain level, a
Mhm.
lot of stuff, karma doesn't affect me. There is no more karma.
Mhm.
Karma has to activate because I want to do something to someone else. I don't want
Mhm.
that.
Okay, but
It doesn't even exist anymore. So a
So-
lot of things, when you get to certain spiritual levels, when you start rising, most of the stuff you don't care about anyway because it's fleshly. But the stuff
this-
that you do care about spiritually and soul seeking and helping others are only, once again, I'll say it again, side effects for me finding me down the rabbit hole. Like you found you, like Desi found Desi down the rabbit hole. Everything else is us fighting to be who we are in this world.
So I slightly disagree, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Go for it.
Okay, so the reason why I slightly disagree is because the whole thing is, like you said, once you get to certain levels, they say new devils. So you're not gonna go ahead. So it's gonna not be in the same way that happened to you before. It's gonna be in another way to go ahead and get you. Because once you've done this certain things over and over, you're like, oh, okay, I ran by this fence and I cut my
You're right.
arm.
My bad. Let me give you the key. There's a key to that too. We must embrace change. It is the number one engine that's going to be in your spiritual life. Now, there's two ways to embrace it. You can let change happen and you ride the wave. You know, if it's a big wave, a tidal wave, and you let it happen, or you can watch change happen before it happens because the spirit will give you that. So I see it happening. Oh, I'm going to have to turn left. But wait, I never turn left. I always turn right. The spirit, I'm telling you, you got to turn left. Now you going to turn left on your own or I'm going to turn you left. And that's when you're saying, oh, the spirit going to get your attention. You see what I'm saying? So I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. But I'm saying
that was that one incident. That's one time for you. But there's many other more levels.
There's big times, there's micro, there's small things when I'm just talking to myself and the spirit be like, nigga, stop lying. Yeah, you right. You caught me. I was out there bad. You right. I'm back. No, I'm back. I mean, all things.
Because the thing is just like, let me see how to say it. Okay, so like say it's something that you enjoy. Like say like it's like, okay, just saying I like to go to the pool hall. There's nothing wrong with the pool hall, right?
Gotcha.
But and you can go and visit or whatever. However, but if the spirit, like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. My dad, something will happen with my dad. Like he was driving home when he was working at Kodak, and he said, this is his words to me. He said he heard the spirit tell him to told him, I need you to go into this bar. And then my dad's like, wait a minute, I'm a pastor, preacher. I can't go in this bar. He said, I need you to go in this bar. And he said, it's a man that's going to be sitting at the end of the bar. He said, I need you to go to this certain man and tell him that if he doesn't stop, bow down and worship, the spirit and everything. And he said, if you choose not to, you're going to surely die. He said, I didn't want to come in here and tell you that. I don't know you. And then he just proceeded. He proceeded to walk out. He proceeded to walk out. They laughing. Ah, ha, 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 ha. That man dropped dead. Right there.
Mm. See, I don't like. See, I don't like
So
when the spirit used me for something
no,
like that.
no, no, but
I'll do
I'm
it.
just, I'm
But
just
me and
saying.
the spirit
So,
gonna have to have some talks of how
so
we
this is
communicate.
this is why I say there's different
Wow.
levels. Okay,
Not my
so
will, but thy will be done.
I will say it again.
so this is why I was
Mm.
saying when I said I slightly agree was because the whole thing is now just say if he didn't do what that was supposed to be said, and then you get
Perfect,
chastised. You get
perfect
chastised.
example of the double-edged sword of the truth. That's another one. No, you don't want to deliver the truth. You love the truth. You always, yeah, give me more truth. Give me more. Oh, yeah, now I need you to go here to deliver this truth to this dude that if he don't get off his high horse and settle down with himself and get right with his spirit, he gonna die. I need you to go do that right now in the bar. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now that is when we can judge what type of spiritual entity we are.
Because
That,
let me tell
those
you, because
times
for him
are
to
the
go
most
ahead and
times.
say
And
the
it ain't
first
all the
things you
time.
hear
My
is
bad, go
like,
ahead, Jay.
because the first things that you hear is pride. That's the
Right.
first thing that hit you in the face. Nigga, you about to go in a bar and you a pastor? You know what that looks like? You know it. And this was before social media and the
Looks good,
pictures and
feels good,
everything.
tastes good, sounds good.
But so if somebody went to back to church and said, you know, I seen Pastor Daly in the
In the
bar
body, yep.
and this and that, and then that would have spread quicker than the internet would because everybody in the city would have went boop, 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 boop,
But
calling
not
somebody.
when the pastor does his sermon on how the spirit talked to him and the person died right when I think that's a whole revelation in itself.
Yeah, but I'm saying if he didn't do it, just say if
Oh,
he
if he
didn't do
didn't
it,
do it.
the
Mm.
consequences are some of those things that I was saying can happen. You know, like they started, oh man, I seen this man. He was getting ready to go in the bar. Then he must have seen that I seen him. Or he might have had a woman in there. He might have did this,
Here
you
we
know.
go again. This may
So
sound controversial, but when you with the spirit, obviously, like your dad was, do you have a choice?
that's why I said there was no choice.
Listen, I've been rolling with the spirit for as long as I can remember. All of a sudden now, I'm just going to be like, no, I'm not going to do it because of my pride. Do you really have a choice? We're
Hey,
one. That's the whole
you,
point of becoming one with the spirit. Watching how the spirit work, activating your own energy and letting the spirit work its magic through you. That's the whole point of this realm right here of
hey,
spatial darkness. Hold on, Jazzy, because I'm going
okay,
somewhere.
okay, go
In my
ahead.
book, I
Mhm.
talk about how most of the earths are under the Father's plan. They working
Mhm.
perfectly. 93% of the earths out there in these billions and trillions of galaxies, all of them got earths. All these planets are working perfectly under the plan.
Mhm.
But 7% are actually had the gods that were supposed to look out for us said, fuck it, we just gonna control them and do what we got. That's where you get the fall. That's where you get they came down and had sex with then you had all these grotesqueries and all this shit started happening. So you know what, the spiritual plan, because you've got people governing the earth. They'll let them do so much, but they
Intelligence in
can't do
high
anything now.
places.
Right. Everything. They can't do anything that they're not being let do. Don't get it twisted. All of them, nuclear weapons, any of that. That's why I never feel threatened. I'm always safe because none of this shit, really none of it exists anyway, but still, they can't do anything without permission from higher places that they don't even know about. Everything is protected. Everything is going on. They said, okay, since they want to mess up the plane, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let high negative entities come down to the earth. I'm going to let high positive entities come down to the earth. I'm going to let it be a free for all. And when I gather them up, I'm going to see who's left. I'm going to see who followed my rule and who didn't, who fell for the flesh and who couldn't. And the ones that couldn't make it, I'm going to recycle them to the next earth. Well, they'll start off where they left here, moving upward. There's a plan for everyone. Come on, the creator knows if he gives us free will, there's bound to be sin. Come on. So
But we
everything
do.
is
You
already
don't think
worked
we
out
have
for.
free will?
Huh?
We do.
Oh,
So
In
okay.
certain
I thought,
degrees.
okay.
But
yeah,
listen,
there
this is
is
the
free
funny
will.
thing. The more conscious you become, the more
The
power
more
you
you lose.
gather through the consciousness, the less free will you have.
Absolutely.
Ain't that some shit? And you give it up
But
willingly.
to truly surrender, you set yourself free.
You
There
set
you
yourself
go.
free.
It's like, okay, if we think
So
about
no
this
matter what
on
happened,
like
it was no matter what happened. If you set you free, it was the will, anyways.
hmm. But if you do it regardless, then I beat you to the punch. So no. But
I'm with you. I see what, no, you said it right. I see where change is taking me and I'm running to it. See, most
mhm.
people are reluctant to change.
But
They
you
don't
just
want to
said
change.
that. That's what you just said. When you said that, I could see the change coming. And this is the thing that people think that. So I like to believe that God is consciousness. You understand what I'm saying?
You like
This
to
is
know,
something that is
baby.
everywhere.
You like
The
to know.
ideal
I
is,
heard belief too, but let her
huh?
go. Go ahead,
I
speak,
know.
dear. We was talking about belief against knowing.
I'm just,
We don't
you
like the
know, I
word
know.
believe at all, but go ahead.
Oh, I got what you're saying. I'll follow along. But exactly, God is consciousness. Excuse
There
me.
we go. State
And
the fact.
the ideal is this. Um, it has always existed. It was us who were unaware. You understand? And it's
Mhm.
not just the spirit that will get your attention. Your body will also get your attention because if you have already signed what we say, we don't belong to ourselves anyways. What you signing over essentially? You signing over you signing over your flesh. What you think they needed in blood for?
Right?
So you sign over you, essentially. So you think you did. But everything else that is a part of you returns regardless. If I want, you gonna return right back to the infinite. Unless you don't learn your lesson. But the ideal is this that people who we think we want to be protected. When a wife submits to her husband, she's essentially set free. I don't got to worry about making no money. I don't got to worry about doing all of these things. We all crave freedom under structure. You understand what I'm saying? So imagine if only you submitted to the infinite, to the unknown, or whatever you want to call it, because you are unaware, it is unknown to you, essentially. But when you become aware, you understand what your options are doing. If you keep your goal in mind, then you know, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna end up like this. Oh, if I don't pay my bill,
You
you
said
know you're not
something
gonna.
critical. You said freedom comes with what? Structure. Do
Hmm.
you know what freedom without structure is?
Chaos.
Chaos.
Oh, look at my student. Look at my boys out there. Spirit told me that, so I didn't know whether y'all was gonna know or not because I just got the download.
The primordial
Freedom
being. Of course we would
without
know.
structure is chaos.
That's where we come from. That's what we are birthed from.
We're from that 93% of space that's dark. That what is it? Cosmic ash. Do you know what our skin is made of? It's made of cosmic ash and melanin,
Mhm.
carbon, nanocarbon, cosmic ash, and melanin. Do you know what? Well, I ain't even gonna say it, but other
Uh
people's
huh.
skin is made of mucous membrane, like what you
Right.
got in your nose. That's what the skin is made. That's why the sun can penetrate it
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't have the darkness that nine ether that we talk about. Why our hair grows to the sun? Okay, why our skin is dark and absorbs the heat. That's because we're made of that darkness. But that's another story at another time. Because
We
y'all can
worship
barely
like the
understand the light
Trinity.
before I start getting into the dark side on them. Because then they really gonna be like, "What?"
Hey, so I wanted to finish that story about like when I told you about my dad went in that bar and everything,
Oh,
right?
that's right. My bad, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, so we were talking about like like there he had to, you know what
Uh,
I'm saying? It wasn't no, and then if the spirit tells you to do, I mean, and like you said, who would want to have to go ahead and deliver that kind of message? You know what I'm saying? But if the
I agree.
spirit, if you supposed to be one with yourself, you know what I'm saying? Deny yourself, and this is what you live and how you do it. You know what I'm saying? He had to do it, but just think about it. Now, if he didn't do it, right? You know what happens then? And then he grabs those vines, what they grabbed in the garden, how they say in the garden,
Who
and tried to
told you
cover
Who
himself.
told you was naked?
So, and then because what happens, spirit gonna say, yo, hey, we're out thou. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna be saying, you're gonna be
Oh,
making excuses,
Jazzy.
you know.
Like when we talked about when we got sick. That's how we felt naked. without the spirit.
You're gonna feel
That's
you're
how I
gonna you're
felt.
gonna
I
feel
felt
you're gonna
naked.
feel naked.
Like,
So
oh
the
my
first
God, I
thing
need
you're
to
gonna
put on
get
some
you some
clothes.
clothes. So
I'm
and then
exposed.
that's when it comes and it tells you who was naked, because the command and the law was given. So if you refuse to do it, then that means you broke the law. You broke the law that the Spirit gave to you. That's why I try to get people to understand. It's not about what you're doing out here, like saying, "Oh, this." No, you broke something that Spirit personally told you. I mean,
Yeah.
you heard the voice and described it. So what was your excuse for not doing it? So then that's when you separate yourself from Spirit.
And
Unless
this
you
is,
go ahead and face it, that, because it becomes a trauma. Because what happens, most people
yes, it
run,
does.
and then you know what I'm saying. And then so most people be like, "Man, I'm slowing up from the church," and and this and that, or
Well,
they start
Chad,
trying to
you
go
just
the
hit
opposite way.
something. I
Who
wonder if
told you
there's
what?
spiritual traumas just like there's physical traumas. Like somebody getting raped would be a physical,
Absolutely.
but a
Yes,
spiritual trauma,
yes.
how do you come back from that?
That's the whole thing. You got to go ahead, and
Wow.
that's the surrendering part. That's when you come to a point where you say, "You know what? I know I'm a mess. You know what? And it's not my will. I've made a complete mess.
Mess
Not
of
my
things.
will, but allow your will to be done."
Work through me. Facts. Facts. To bring it
That's why I
all to
said,
360.
see, and that's why I said the hardest thing is that prayer. I mean, if you just think about it, like situations like that, you have to say, "Not my will." I got to deny my ego and all whatever else to go ahead and just follow through this command. You know what I'm saying? And then if I didn't, then that's when people start running and trying to hide, and then your lies start catching up for you, and before you know it, I don't want to hear shit that person got to say. You know what I'm saying?
But
That's
see,
what will
that's
happen.
what I love about the spirit is it will prepare you for anything that's to come. If you need to be shown, it'll show you. If you need to be told, it'll tell you, but not like on January 30th at 10 o'clock. No, it's always something like, hey, at around this time, when you do what you normally do, you need to do something else.
That's
It's
why I
always
say the
subtle,
spirit gonna talk
very
to you in a
subtle,
way
but
that you
but
can
hold on.
understand.
But it will let you see change before it comes and give you an opportunity to move on it, if that makes sense. But you gotta once again, you still gotta be one with that spirit. It's just like, yo, I'm gonna tell you, look, you do what you want to do. Like your homegirl, Miss Desi. Look, babe, you do what you want to do, but I'm telling you, next week that shop is closing. So if you want that product that only that shop get, you better get it now because you ain't gonna be able to get it after that. I'm just making something small, but it'll break it down. And be like, this is what you need now. Whether you listen to me or not is on you. The
Yeah.
thing is with us, we have cultivated that little voice of truth to the point where that's what we want to listen to you. Keep speaking. You know what I'm saying? So it's
But we
different
don't
from us.
show it with our action.
Right. You'll never even know we talking to ourselves the whole time. You'll never even know because we're what looks good, feels
Constantly.
good. Yes, the emotional value was taken out because we traded that in for the truth, for the logic of it, for the reason. We want to know. We don't want to believe. We want to know. And once you get into that realm, and the only way you can know is through the truth. And the truth is what? Here we go again. The double-edged sword. So that brings it all the way back to how we
That brings
started
it
this
all the way back to the
conversation.
word. What
To
was
the
it?
word.
So I
The
wanted
You know
to
what I'm
the
say
truth
saying?
is
this. That's
Huh?
something that when you guys were talking, this is something that you guys helped me understand or some revelation. So the ideal is that when Adam and Eve was in the garden,
mhm.
they always think that it was disobedience or it was something, but somebody say something to the analogy of it was pride essentially, but to me, it was separation. You understand? So the
What was
reason
it?
I
All right.
separation.
Separation.
Oh, separation. Yeah, separation.
And the reason I say it's separation, it goes exactly to this. That mental, you stated that they'll say, hey, listen, this what you need to do. I don't know if you're going to listen or not, but this is exactly what you need to do. God had already told Adam and Eve in the garden. He told them, don't eat of this tree. The day you eat
Uh-oh,
of
you
this tree,
breaking up. Is that
You're
just me?
breaking up, Mister. No, it's her. That's why I couldn't hear the other thing. Okay, try now, Miss
Am
Desi.
I better?
Oh, keep
Is it
going.
still better?
It's
Okay. So
static a
the
little bit.
ideal of Adam and Eve in
Oh,
the garden is
there
still
you go.
there.
Just speak up. You good?
Okay, so the ideal of Adam and Eve in the garden when he was telling them, like, okay, don't eat of this tree. Because when you eat of this tree this day, you should surely die. And people all said, oh, he lied, he lied, he lied. But he, because they died of the spirit. That is how
Man,
they
people
died.
need to hear
It did-
this. You
No,
need to move. Yeah.
Desi,
Huh.
stop, jump out and jump back in because they need to hear this story. It's coming in and out. Yeah. We want this right. Well, I want to get this one good. I
Yeah.
hear it too, Jazzy.
You
I
hear it
hear it
coming,
coming.
right?
I hear
Yeah. So I was like, I definitely
there
want to
we
make
go.
sure
She
that.
right back in.
Okay.
Hold on. Boom. All right. She coming right back in, y'all.
Did
All
it
right.
work?
Oh, hit it again. Say something else.
I'm not sure if it worked.
No,
Are you
yeah.
talking through
Did it
your
work?
computer or are you talking to a Bluetooth?
Go back. Take the video off again. Take the video off. Now talk.
It's better this way.
Oh no, it's the same way.
Do
I'm
you
not.
have a
It's,
Bluetooth or something hooked up?
Yeah, it was just working fine.
She's gonna try again.
Yeah, it was
So
just working fine. But I'm telling you, bro, when you with the spirit, nothing is impossible. I mean, you can see things that other people would be like, "Oh, I see what's about to happen here." Up, because everything has a pattern. Even people, we have patterns to us. And what?
and then only you know who know those things when people say, "Oh, this is about to happen." You know who's people that say those things? Only the people that actually experienced it.
Well, they'd have to tell someone something that was going to happen. The person obviously didn't believe them, and then they watched it happen.
Or
Think
maybe
of
they
that
didn't
happen to
know.
you. Huh?
Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they had their things in where they wasn't trying to hear nothing. They didn't know, and they was doing it, and they caught them by surprise. That's another thing too. That's why I said the people that things like when you say, "Oh boy, I know what's about to happen," is because you've experienced it, you've seen it, you've been through it. That's the only people that can go ahead and comment on. Whoa,
There we.
I
say
don't
something
think
now.
that did it
Ah
work.
man, you don't
I,
have to just come
No,
closer or
King.
something.
Your mic. Turn your mic down. Turn your thing down and just step closer to the. No, turn it down on your end, the volume, and move closer. I bet that's what it is. It's feedback.
Let me hear.
so it's just really loud. Can you hear me better now?
No, it's the same. What
It's
just
so
happened? You see how they be trying to mess with us? She's about to spit them jewels, and now all of a sudden,
I wonder, is it that like she got a
what?
Bluetooth hooked up, like a speaker or something, or is it
And just go through the phone. Yeah, Desi, just go through the whatever monitors you got if you can, or just take it to your
go through
phone.
her
Get your
phone? Yeah,
phone
just
out.
go through
Yeah,
your
just take
phone.
it. Get your phone out and go through your phone.
man.
Say something else.
Huh? You can hear me better now?
Oh no, yeah, I can hear it now.
Oh well, it's over. Don't worry. We'll talk about it at another time.
Okay. Well,
All
I'm
right,
gonna say something about it though. It's two
stay on
things
the
I want.
line though, in case it clears up. Just keep saying something every now and then. Go ahead,
So
Jazzy.
I wanted to say like that whole thing is like she said, it was separation, and
Separation,
I
yeah.
I know that to be true as well. So during that excuse me, during that separation, the one thing that happened was, okay, you're separating yourself and from the spirit inside. So that's exactly what I was explaining. If I said like by my dad making a choice, it was the same thing like with Adam and Eve. They were giving a law or a command to do. Like my dad was given one. That's just an example. Anybody can have them. It's not like he's, you know what I'm saying? I don't want it like he's super. I'm just saying I've got it
The
wove
spirit can
me.
work through everyone. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so, right. So
I
the
got you.
thing is just like Adam and Eve were given a command to do it, and they didn't, and then they felt separation. Then the first thing they did, they felt like had to cover themselves with the vines. That was the first cover up in the lie,
but
you know. And
my issue is why would a supreme being of God tell you not to eat a fruit that would open your eyes, that would
Hey,
give you knowledge of good and bad? Because before
hey,
they
It
were like
wasn't
kids.
about the
but
fruit opening
that
their
wasn't,
eyes.
but
It
that
wasn't
wasn't,
about the fruit
but see, and
opening their
Oh,
it
go
was
eyes.
ahead.
about
Oh, wait,
that.
we can hear you now,
I
dear.
can
Hold
hear
on,
you
hold on.
now.
We can hear you. You back.
It wasn't about the fruit opening their
Right. It's about
eyes.
the command.
It was it
It
was
was the law.
about their it was what Satan did essentially was play on their ego. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Playing your
This
Right.
ego.
is how
Oh
we
man,
need
you messing up again.
She was
that is
just
what Satan
perfect.
I
told him.
know.
There we
He
go.
told
We
him.
good. Go ahead.
He
We didn't hear
said, if
nothing
you
you
eat
said.
of this fruit, you will be like God.
Right.
So
Okay.
then, them thinking that they could be like God when every single day you walking with the man you trying to be like, what the fuck we need fruit for? I'm getting the knowledge straight from the fucking tree. What I need a copy for? We walking in the garden in the middle of the day with the shit that we trying to be
I
like. What we
can't be
talking
mad at
about?
Adam and Eve for wanting more. I've been walking with this dude for
Hey,
listen, 100,000 years. Okay. And I'm still the same person. The only thing
And
I
the
ain't done in a
moment they
million
got
hey,
years
more, the
was
but
first
taste this
thing they
fruit.
felt was shame. The first thing they felt was guilt. The dawning of clothes. To understand that walking away from your nakedness leads you where? Nowhere.
hey,
Because
so
Mhm.
it
the
took
thing
them
is,
putting on
No,
clothes because they
walking
felt
away
like
from
they
your
had to.
nakedness leaves you naked.
the
It
thing
leads you
is,
nowhere.
this is the thing. Every day when you wake up, you're waking up to that Garden of Eden. Okay. And those choices that they made, we make. It's still a separation. You see what I'm saying? It's still a separation, bro. Because the whole thing is, if you were given something to do, an assignment, and it said, this is by any time you hear that and you know that you disobeyed that, you're going to go through something. You're going to go through
Yeah, but hold
separation.
on, hold on, hold on.
That's
Now,
the whole thing that
I
happened in the
got y'all
garden.
with the garden, but we all know there was no garden. It was a
No,
laboratory.
but no
Okay,
matter
you know what
what
I'm
it
saying?
is,
No,
I
no,
don't care.
but no, I know what I'm saying. So you gotta. There's two. This is what I was saying earlier, where the truth can be seen at different points by different consciousness. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? What you just said, yeah, that was probably true. But we all know that Adam and Eve were not the first people on earth. Because when Cain killed Abel, they went to the land of Nod, and there was already people over
Already
there.
people
And
there.
Cain
The
was
Nestlems and
afraid of those
everything was there.
people. He was
Hmm.
afraid.
Yeah,
Why? Because they were other gods.
but
Absolutely.
see,
That's why he said, "Don't have
The
no other
fallen
God but me,"
angels
because
was
there's
there.
other gods walking the earth besides me. But go ahead.
no, what I'm trying to tell you, okay, without any of that, I'm talking about us, me, you, Miss Desi. You
Uh
know what I'm saying? Whoever else listening. When you walking through that garden and then you hear something and it says mental, you know what I'm saying? Going late, but tell your wife this, that, or whatever. Okay, you were given that. Now, if you don't do it, that's the same thing Adam and Eve was doing in that garden. You was told not to do something and you did it. You
I disagree.
chose.
I
You're
disagree.
picking. You're picking,
No,
and then
because
and then
one is hold on. One is one thing. Mental. Don't turn left down the street. Da 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 da. Right? Okay, I'll give you that. Now, if you tell me that after a million times, one of them times my human curiosity is going to make me turn left.
Mhm.
I got to experience what it is. I've been down here for a million years and I still haven't experienced that goddamn fruit. I want to know what it does. It's part of our
but
That's
nature.
you
but the
giving
whole
over
thing
to
is,
Hold
materialistic
on.
things.
It's
You
part of
said
our
you fall.
nature to
go
know.
ahead. I can't hear Miss Desi. What you say, Miss Desi?
Go ahead.
I said that's him giving over to the materialistic things. What looks good, feels good, smells good, sounds good. Why? You already
That's
know
what I.
what's good. What we chasing
That,
after?
that's what I'm trying to tell you, mental. It doesn't matter what it is. It's separation from self. What they did was separation. Separation. That
I'm just saying,
anything that you
I'm with
do
you.
that you're not. It could be small, or you could say if it was something as big as like, oh, if I
No,
heard it
no,
say
I
don't eat from the
agree.
fruit from the
I'm
tree,
not disagreeing with you,
I want
but
you to
I'm
use
not
that fruit
faulting
from the
Adam
tree.
I'm just not faulting Adam or
No,
Eve either.
no.
I'm
I
not
don't want to
faulting
say
them for
no,
doing what they
no.
did.
No, what I'm saying is take Adam and Eve out of it. I want you to use that
It
as a
just the whole.
metaphor.
I know what you're saying, like a
You see what I'm
metaphor. I
saying?
got you. I got you.
Because, like
No,
you said,
I
well,
agree with
there's
you.
this person before Adam and Eve, and we don't need to know all of that part. All we need to focus on right now is the same thing choice that they made when they heard that
I
voice,
got you.
and then the
You're
same
using
thing
that.
that's
You're
told
just
you.
using the abstract principle of that choice.
That's it.
Got you. I got
And the
you.
same thing is what separates us whenever we do that. You see what I'm saying? And then, especially if it was something that it could have been something light and you didn't think about it, but it could have been something that's weighing on your heart. That's you know what I'm saying, that you were supposed to do. You know, for just say if it was like at the like somebody it said, look, tomorrow morning when you get up, I need you to go ahead and pay for the person behind
Hmm.
you. Okay,
I
and
know
then
what
for
you're saying.
whatever reason you was just like, I don't know if I should do that or that or whatever. Okay, so say you don't do it, and then you like, you know, and then you find out somebody at the end of the line, you know, before you got ready to get out, they stopped and said, look, you know what? You made my day. Here's $100 million. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I know
Something
what you're saying.
hypothetically,
I know
you
what
may have
you're saying.
missed out because you didn't do what you. And then that's why I said it doesn't matter
No,
if
you
it's a
will
little
miss out.
thing.
I'm with you. You
You
will
right.
miss out. It ain't
It could
that
be a
you ain't
little
going to.
thing, or it could be a big thing. But the whole thing about it's going to separate you because it's a part of you that's you're gonna feel that pain. You're gonna feel that pain. And the whole thing is, most of the time, what you try to do is like, you know what? And then it's gonna come back. You know you're supposed to go do that, right? And then something that was done with it, and then it's just like and then that guilt comes on you, and then it's just like, dang. It's just
I
like
wish I
how I
would have
told you
did
how I
that.
felt. It was like how I told you when I was saying about social media when I said, man, I got it. He's like, man, you was like, nah, social media ain't nothing like that for you. I mean, it's just and I said, no, bro, I got to go ahead and do it. I got to go
Right.
ahead from
No, but you
Tuesday.
identified to me, well, I got this and that. Then I was like, oh, I ain't got none of that. Oh,
And
that's why.
then,
Yeah, I know. You giving
but
a damn,
see,
I turned social media off.
and then look at what happened at the end of that week. It's always something that I was like, man, I didn't even expect this happen.
Spiritual
You
thing
see what I'm
happened.
saying? That's
Yeah.
what I said. So it's just a part. What I want people to go ahead, don't look at it as technical as like reading anatomy. Don't look at it as far as like, you heard this. No, look at it as in simple terms as if this, you know what I'm saying? Just factual. This is what happened. It separated them. It's the same thing that will separate you. And if you stay in that separation, you either getting better or you're getting worse. So the whole thing is just the best thing to do is like what we were saying earlier, is just go ahead and say, not my will, and let your will be
Let
done
your will be done. Yeah.
and
The
be done
problem
with
of it
it.
is most of them don't recognize. We recognize, hey, I want you to do this. And we know when the spirit is direct with us that it's important. We understand that. Another person may not get that same interpretation. Like, hey, we should go help this person. Yo, go help this person. Da da da. Man, I ain't there helping nobody, nigga. I'm about my business. You know what I'm saying? So it
Mm-hmm.
all depends on that connection to the spirit. If you're
Mm-hmm.
connected and you will allow the spirit to work in your life, then there's nothing you can't do, be, or become. Nothing. But
That's why I
most of
said
us are still caught up in what we can do for ourselves. Like the spirit can't do better. You see what I'm saying? Like the spirit can't do more. We think we can do for ourselves better than the spirit can. When the spirit right now is regulating our heart rate, helping us breathe, keeping us conscious, all the internal stuff, helping us go to the back, all that stuff right now, the spirit's doing in their body right now. Most of us take it for granted.
so. When you said earlier, when you was like, people come what they are, they're a doctor, this, that. I remember y'all was having that conversation when I first came on.
Uh-huh.
So I was saying like everything that you said, when you said it, you was like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. I am going to be a doctor. You said I am. So you kept saying that's what whatever you say, I am, whatever else is what follows. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, and another thing that I wanted to say was when Miss Desi was talking about the where she was saying like bowing down to different things, and like the crack was the person's god or this, that. Remember,
Uh-huh.
she's like they
Bound
bound
down to
down,
the physical addiction.
but anything you bow down to is your god.
But comes right back to everything down here is an addiction to keep us here.
Anything you
everything,
bow down to,
anything
you
you
bow
like,
your head to,
your desires,
anything,
all of it.
whatever you got to,
So
you bow your
you
head
got to
to,
get
that's your
rid of
God.
all that. And once you make room, people, here's the key. This is what we've come to. Once you get rid of all that, now the spirit has room to come and talk to you plainly, come to give you direction easily, come to show you and energize you. You wake up in the morning with a new vigor.
Mhm.
Everything you see is now brand new, but you've been seeing the same thing, but forever. But now, because you're conscious, because now you have more of a heart, more love, you can see more. Love is awareness.
Mhm.
Literally, it equals awareness. Because if you could care about someone like you care about your mom or dad or sister or brother or baby, and you care about everyone like that, you'd never be mad at them. Am I right? You'd want to know what happened. Why are they doing this? You want reasons. You wouldn't even let your emotions come in play. But this is where we're at.
Mhm.
That's why cosmic awareness is born.
Hey, and
Why
to
is
the
it
people,
born? So you can help you with these things I'm talking about.
I have to catch up. So I'm not even going to front like I'm up Reddit like Miss Desi or Mental. I
Ooh,
have to
I'm
catch up.
jazzy.
One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the truth. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't one of those people to go ahead and say, "Oh yeah, I read the book and this is what it said." No, I'm not going to lie. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, those are the things that I was explaining earlier about myself, where I said, as far as separating my, so I can be more time one with the spirit. These are things that I was talking about earlier, and the thing about getting to a point where it's just like you hear that voice, and then you activate anything that you have issues on or that you're trying to do to ask that question. Not if not my will, let your will be done. So
That's
that
what I
cuts
wanted
back.
to tell you too, Jazzy. Since we're talking about it, remember how we told you how everything was speeding up?
Mhm. Since
Why
the
is it
pandemic,
slowing back down?
is it? It still
Yes,
seems
starting to
fast to
slow back.
me.
Yes, starting to find more time in the day. Minutes and seconds are opening up.
Mm, I
I
need
don't
that.
know. Must be the next. Something's going on because I
Oh,
feel it. Now
that
I have
well
more time in the day. Hey, what do
because
you want to do now?
that
Spirit will
must
be like,
mean
what do you
that
want to
you
do now? Go ahead.
that might mean that you did some of the cutting back on where you have time for self now.
I always have time for self. I put
But I'm just
time for
saying,
self.
if
No,
you feel
but
like time is going like that, that
yeah.
seems to me like what you did some cutting of the fat. You know what I'm saying? To go ahead and it's just like, yeah, I always
No,
have
you know
time,
what I think it
but
was
now
at work. I think it is at work. I
I
talked to
think I know
myself
what it
and
is.
my spirit was like, I think we talked about this before. Are you really present at work? Are you doing everything you could do for the youth at your job? Da 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 da. And so now work is different because work used to speed by. Now it slowed down. And once I got off, it was like, oh man, I got so much time to do
I
anything.
think I know what it is. I
What?
think I know. I think that may be after effect. I think what happened is when you took your vacation to go ahead and have a week by yourself.
Mm.
Because everything after that, when you came back, was a result of you spending that time with yourself.
Yeah, it might have kind of slowed down a little bit. Wah, wah, wah.
Nothing wrong with
Well,
that. But
Jazzy,
that's
we've been
okay,
on for a
bro.
mile. I want to thank Miss Desi. Thank you, Miss Desi. Immersive Experience on Facebook. Check her out. She's been our spiritual sisters since the beginning. You all know Jazzy Fizzle. I mean, right now I'm telling you,
You hold the
all it
front,
does is help you.
and
It's a
this the back.
overflow. Right.
This the
It's an
back.
overflow of what you need.
It's available where?
Barnes and Nobles online. I'm not quite sure when it's going to be available in the store. And Amazon books. Get it. It will change your life. The reason I call it upgrade because it is going to upgrade different aspects of your senses. All of them will have a new upgrade. You'll see things different. You'll hear things different. You'll interpret things different. All right. You'll get a spiritual taste, not just a physical taste. All right. You'll start getting inner energy signs, not just outer energies of heat. You'll get lights and different things. You'll start seeing your ancestors. If you are afraid of your dreams or nightmares, you'll start to learn that that's just you. Your people, everything will start to come into fruition. Everything will make sense because we're going into this new spiritual realm, and cosmic awareness is just part of the necessary work that needs to be done so that you can take the next step into your evolution of spiritual ascension. Saying that, Jazzy, give us your parting words.
Hey, like, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. It's always a learning thing for me while I'm here, and it's always good to hear my sister come on and my brother. So, like, share, subscribe. We're not asking for no money, just to go ahead for you to share this to the next soul. And till the next time,
Peace and love.